Welcome to Hedgehog Hollow and welcome to our twice monthly feature with CrafTangles. Today I have a great card for a new baby or maybe even for a first birthday. We're going to be having a look at how to create the washing line effect. We're going to create sky and stenciling with die cuts, and then we're going to use these chameleon pencils to create some lovely blends. So here's the card we're going to use. You could do it in whatever colours you prefer, but blues, pinks, lemons all work perfectly against this lovely blue cloud sky that we're going to make. So let's get started. So here are our supplies, and we're going to start with our sky background. I'll move this out the way for a second. So I have my background piece of cardstock, which is 5 inches by 3 3/4. I had to think about that for a second. I'm using my Tim Holtz platform here, and I already keep a Teflon mat in it, which I'll link to the video where I tell you all about this platform as well for you. And then what I've pre-done is I've made some cloud shapes out of some dies that I have. Again, everything will be linked in the description for you. Now I've got one of my barber's brushes and some Distress Oxides. This is Salty Ocean, and I'm also going to use some broken china. Now what I do is I just give a gentle dab on there, start to get some of that excess off, and then we're going to blend. Now the thing with a brush over the blending tool is it's going to give you a much softer effect and a much better blend because you've got no harsh edges. So what you can do once you've done that, you can see I've got that nice scallop in there. I can choose a different sky here, and I can add some lighter layers with what's left on my brush. You can even pick up some for that from the side. And I'm going to just pick up some broken china and just a very tiny amount just to add some contrasts. And I'm kind of more going with the speckle, and then once that ink is off I go in a circular motion. So you can see there how I'm building up this sky. I have another one down here that we can use, and you can move it around. So let's do it here. And again, I'm going to start working with what I've already got on my brush. Now I'm going to pick up some of, let's move this up so you can see. I'm going to pick up some more Salty Ocean, and I'm really going to get as much as I can off because I don't want it particularly dark. And then finally we can just fill in those bottom pieces. And you can work circular, you can work backwards and forwards, but you can see there how we look like we've got a layered sky. And at the top there, I just want to add a little bit more contrast. So I'm going to put this right near the edge, and I'm going to pick up a bit more of my broken china. And I'm going to go back over this. And I'm going to do it once more. The great thing with these is this is just cut out of some stamping cardstock. Is you can keep them and use them over and over. They're not sticky, so they're not going to lift up any ink. You just hold them in place, and you can see there how I've added that final textured layer. So I look like I've really got that blended sky in there. I'm just going to clean this off with my stamp chamois, just so we don't get any contamination. There we go. And I always put the lids back on my inks because otherwise I tend to put my arms into them. Now you want to stamp out on this layer here, so I'm going to use my magnet to hold this in place as we are going to stamp in the corner to a special little one because I'm doing this as a new baby card. So I can close my lid, pick up my stamp. I'm going to use some Ranger archival ink today. And lift it up. And I like this to be quite intense for a sentiment, so I like to stamp it twice. So again, and we can open it back up again. So that's our front panel all done. So I'm going to pop that to the side. Now the next thing you want to do is your clothesline. So part of the CrafTangles little one stamp set is this lovely clothesline. You want to stamp that onto some white cardstock. Again, I use the Ranger archival. You can use any ink you like. And you can either fussy cut each of the items out, so your socks and your romper and things, or I have a scan and cut, and I just put it through the scan and cut, and it actually cuts me the washing line as well. Now if it didn't cut you the washing line, what I would do is I would use a piece of twine, stick that to your card, and then you can just use some glue dots to stick these onto your washing line. Luckily this already happened, and I'll have a link to the scan and cut and a special sale that's on if you're watching this when it's released in July. So what we will do once we've coloured it in is this is going to sit off our washing line in our lovely blue sky. So let's colour. So I'm going to remove this stamp, which we'll clean later, and I'm going to use my chameleon pencils, which have this lovely display box, which I always open the wrong way around, but it has magnets in it so it stays like this. And now I'm going to colour it. Now, depending on whether you're doing it for a boy or a girl, of course, will depend on your colour choices. I'm going to do this for a girl. So once you've finished colouring in your items, we're going to just smooth out some of those pencil lines, just so it looks like a smooth colour. I'm going to dip a paper stamp in some Gamsol, and starting with the lighter pink, I'm going to go all the way around. I'm going to do my light pinks first. And you'll notice I coloured in the pegs in the brown. I also did the edges in a slightly darker pink. The chameleon pencils are double-ended to give you that perfect light to dark blend, so you know that they're going to contrast really nicely. And you can either get a little pot of Gamsol, or I just really find it much easier to dip my pencil in. I also coloured those empty areas because mine weren't fussy cut by hand, just with a little bit of blue, which I'm smoothing out there too. And finally I'm going to smooth in that heart. So there we go. So it will all blend really nicely together. So what we can do is we can now put our card together, and then we can add our foam accent so that this is nice and raised. So I have a piece of, you can either use a craft coloured cardstock or a white coloured cardstock, both of which will give you a lovely finished product. So it really depends whether you're using the blue. When I had a blue piece of cardstock for boys, I tended to go more towards the white, whereas I think for the pink for girls, we'll stick with the Desert Storm. So this has a little bit of Gamsol on it, but that Gamsol will evaporate and you will not see it once it's dry. Let's just give that a wipe off. And we're going to stick a layer over it anyway. So I'm going to use my Tonic Funky Tape Glue Runner. And this piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And let's open it up because that's the easiest way to layer. So there should be an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. I'm just going to firm that crease up with my bone folder. As I say, everything will be linked in the description below if you're looking for it. And now we can put our cloud panel on. This is super quick and easy. So when Craig comes home from work and tells me that someone at work's had a baby and could I produce a card, this will certainly be a design that I reach for because it looks so effective. I mean, even just like that, what a beautiful card if you had the right sentiment, maybe a friend sentiment or something just to go in the middle there. Even a sympathy card, it would come out beautifully. Now we can layer up our pieces. So here's our little washing line that we're going to hang in the middle. And I've got my big roll of tape here. Let's put this to the side. You can see it's an absolute jumbo roll. But what I tend to do is cut off a length and then whatever's left I stick on here and then I can just come back to it whenever I like. These are also great scissors from Fiskars that cut the foam really nicely. They don't stick to anything. So definitely my choice here. And you may have to trim some funny shapes. There we go. And our socks are going to have the tiniest pieces on because they really are little, like a little baby's socks. You could do lemon if you wanted to have a stock of these so that if you need a baby card and you need it to hand really quickly, then you could just pick this one up. There we go. And as I say, anything excess I stick on here, and when you see me in a video reaching for some foam, it's usually a piece that I've pre-cut on there ready because it stays nice and sticky. So I'm going to peel off each of these pieces. Now you can either make this washing line straight or curved, that little bit of twine, and as I say, if you didn't have that you could use twine and then stick these on individually just over the top to make it look like a washing line. And then you could put some diamantes or something at each end or tie a bow. So there you have it, lots of techniques in there for you, a lovely way to make a little baby card. There are some great other little things in the set. You've got the rocking horse, you've got the bear with balloons, you've got the pram, the bottle and the aeroplane in there, and some hearts and safety pins and things. So lots of different ways you can use this card. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again next month for some more CrafTangles ideas. Happy stamping, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you again soon. Bye!